Historic Reserve, where we'll check out the Old Faithful Hotel, also known as Lindis Hotel, and other historic sites now managed by the Department of Conservation. So we've driven up the Lindis River and through the Goodger Flat, and we arrive at this almost park-like area, about an acre and a half, I suppose, surrounded by tall radiata pines, old pine trees. And then, worthy of attention, I think, though, is this particular tree here, sort of stunted by the pines, this old English oak tree. And down below it, follow me over here, down below it is a schist boulder with a plaque affixed to it as a memorial. And I'm going to read what's on the plaque. Site of Lindis School, 1932-1943. Also commemorating the oak tree planted by the pupils on the occasion of King George VI's coronation, 1936. And now we step out of the Lindis School lot, look upriver, about 250 yards, and at the side of those Lombardy poplars there is the Old Faithful Hotel. These old Lombardy poplars are a signature of old settlement areas here in central Otago. This one, you can see, we've got the old granddaddy in the middle, and there's second growth all around it. But the old one's still standing, about, I would say 6 foot in diameter near the base. And there are much larger ones around than that. But this one is of some antiquity. I noticed pieces of iron embedded in it that were, like a part of a end of a fence or something, and other old heavy guy wires embedded in it, like it might have been the end of a fence post sometime back 80 years or more ago. And a poplar like that goes back as early probably as the old hotel here itself.
the north end of the old Lindis Hotel. Last time when we came here, the ends of the building had fallen and crumbled in. We were a little bit worried about what was going to happen with the building, but the owners did negotiate with Doc, and Doc took over the property on that side of the fence. They've reconstructed the old wall, put up signage, and now it's available for people to take a walk through. Wattie Thompson's hut. Wattie is the last of the alluvial miners. I'm standing here overlooking the Lindis River. This is near where the first gold was discovered in 1861 along the Lindis River, and it's also near where Wattie Thompson was still mining up until the 1940s and finding gold.
Wattie Thompson was truly a legend of the Lindis. He lived in this hut. He was a veteran of the Second World War. He was a prisoner of war of the Germans. But before that and after that, he was regarded as something of a hermit, and he just kept looking for gold up and down the Lindis, down at Bendigo, over at Luggett, always looking for gold. But he never really had any money. He'd give away the gold that he found. Wattie at one point walked all the way from Northland to Bluff, wearing a sandwich board, declaring that the sinners should repent because the end of the world was nigh. He was a deeply religious man. He died tragically in the plane crash on Mount Erebus, and he's buried in the Terrace Cemetery. About 300 yards upriver from Wattie's hut, we've arrived at Wattie's diggings on the left bank of the Lindis here. Now down this way about 60 yards, the Lindis flows through its bed. Here's a track coming up from the hut right to my feet. This is the tailings from Wattie's mining, and that hill is the slope that he mined. If you look back there, you can see it's a steep cut where he's chiseled it out down there, and it's gone about almost 30 feet into the hill, I should say. Then he gets down to the bottom here, threw the rock to the side as he went. That created this big slag heap here, and then he could just wheelbarrow the gold-bearing gravels down to the river and wash them out. Coming back from the Old Faithful area in the Historical Reserve, driving along the Lindis River, we came across this contraption and recognized right away what it is. This is what's known as a flying fox, and I'm sure it's of probably historic use, and there's been one here for a long time, but this particular one has been refitted fairly recently. Down here the concrete says that Al and Pete poured it here in 1999. And some of this rigging here is of recent vintage, obviously. Now the way this works is you've got a heavy cable and then you've got two light cables. They're like a clothesline where you can bring laundry in like this. And the pulley on the Flying Fox happens to be at the other end right now. But you've got a heavy cable here that's kind of holding everything in place. And these light cables are the ones that actually suspend a traveler going across the Lindis River on the Flying Fox. So we've backtracked up the right bank of the Lindis to get to the other end of the Flying Fox that we first encountered on the far shore. And this is the business end of it. It's got a crank here for drawing cable back and forth. Right now it's locked up. It's padlocked with a chain on it, so it can't be used. And also, when it's in use, I suppose when there's high water, they bring the car out to hang on this to transport people back and forth. But here we got the cable with a release on it. So you can turn that loose down like that, and then you're prepared to hang a car onto it. And then you draw the car across by turning the cable back.